Looks like we've got a decent group of folks. Hello, 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 and good afternoon, everyone. I would like to personally welcome you all and thank you for joining the second annual Madam Walker Legacy Center Summer Institute. My name is Mr. Devin. I'm the Programs and Outreach Manager here at the Walker, and I'm thrilled to be one of your camp counselors for 2021. Now, before we jump into everything, I want to take a moment to ask everybody here, post in the chat and let us know where you're located. Tell us where you're from. And while you're posting that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about us. Our mission here at the Madam Walker Legacy Center is to inspire, engage, and empower individuals in our culturally diverse community, both here in Indianapolis, Indiana, where the Madam Walker Legacy Center is based, and online. No matter where you live, welcome, and we hope you'll all come back to learn, grow, and celebrate the legacy of the incredible Madam C.J. Walker. Before we begin, I'd like to invite our newly elected president of the Madam Walker Legacy Center, Ms. Christian Little Strickland, to tell you just a little more about our history. Christian, thank you so much for joining today.
Hi, Devin. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I am Christian Strickland, the newly minted president of the Madam Walker Legacy Center. And we are so excited that you're joining us this year. Get ready. We've got a lot of fun and educational activities for you all. You're going to learn a lot more about Madam and her life in Indianapolis, which is where we're located. You're going to learn a lot more about that today, as well as some other things. So I'm really excited for you all. Make sure that you continue to put any questions or any other things that you want to know about Madam and her history right in the chat, and Devin will help you out. So looking forward to seeing you all throughout the next couple of weeks. I'm going to jump off so that my son can jump on so that he can get in on this fun too. Thank you all.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for that history, Christian. And again, welcome. We're super happy to have you here as the new president. All right, campers, at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our two camp counselors, Mr. Griff and Miss Nicole. First, let me tell you a little bit about Miss Nicole, and then I'll introduce you to Griff. Nicole loves tacos, sushi, shawarma, reading and writing essays and poetry. She's passionate about the relationships between people and places and loves spending time with her family, who she believes is large enough to populate a small city. She does a pretty good Shakira impression as well. Welcome, Miss Nicole.
Hey, guys.
And up next, we've got Mr. Griff. Griff is a comedian of over 25 years. He's a father of 7, and you can hear him every day, Monday through Friday, on AM 1310 The Light on Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell. Your camp counselor, Griff.
Hey, wait a minute. I like tacos too. And for the people that don't know, a shawarma ain't nothing but a gyro. So Ms. Nicole, I lived in Germany for 5 years, right? And my Turkish people hit me to shawarma. So I am totally about that life.
The sauce is different though. It's all about the sauce.
How about that? Okay. Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Come on. I got all kind of things that I'm gonna be making noise with. Me and Miss Nicole. First, you gotta know a little bit about me and Miss Nicole. I am from California. I lived in Atlanta for about 20 years. I lived in DC for about 3 years. I lived in Germany. I've been in Texas, Dallas, Texas right now for 5 years. I went, the last school I went to was high school. I wanted to be a comedian since I was 3 years old. I joined the Army. I'm a veteran. Let's make some noise for the veterans real quick. I just got married. Oh, kids, I just got married. I've been married 7 months and about 6 days today. I'm a newlywed. That's what they call me. And Miss Nicole, tell us about you. Oh, and I'm a Libra. My birthday's September 30th.
Oh, well, hey, everybody. My name is Miss Nicole. I'm a Leo, so, you know, queen of the jungle. I am born, bred, and buttered in Indiana. My family is from Jordan, so I love going up there to visit. For those of you who don't know, it is way across the pond next to Syria and Egypt and
Right
all that. Yeah, right across the pond. And I'm so excited to have you guys join us today.
Oh, so tell me, Miss Nicole, the Jordanian, what's an amazing Jordanian dish if people didn't know and they went to go get some Jordanian food?
So our national dish is called mensef, and I don't know if you could just get that anywhere, but it's like this yogurt sauce. And before they make it, it almost looks like it's a rock, but they gotta boil it down, and it's like kind of sour. They do it over rice with some lamb and chicken, and it is so good. We even have like a whole song just about it.
Yes. Hold on. Let us hear the song, Miss Nicole. Come on.
Oh no, no, no.
Let me get a little bit of it, Miss Nicole.
ممسف حجاج ما بنفع الأردني. Yeah, that's all you get.
Yes, Mensa. I love it. So we want everybody to shout out where you're from in the chat. You don't have to spell it all perfect. I see Lauren, Indiana, Franklinton, North Carolina. I see a lot of Indianapolis, St. Louis. Where else? What's up to Blaine? Nashville, Tennessee. Wow. I know a former camper, Genesis, is watching from Massachusetts. We have Westfield, Indiana. There are a lot of people from a lot of places. I see Chicago. Wow, that is awesome. So this is what's so cool about this camp. You get to be from everywhere and still see the same thing that everybody else get to see. And today is going to be awesome. Right, Ms. Nicole?
I'm excited. It's going to be so fun.
So if you guys don't have any questions, should I, what else?
Let's power through these rules real quick for camp.
Oh, good. The rules. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the rule guy. Now, you know, a lot of people don't like rules, but here at our camp, we love the rules. The rules are awesome. Rule number 1, and then everybody repeat after me. Rule number 1, pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. What's rule number 1? Pay attention.
Pay attention.
You got to pay attention so you can explain, so you can ask the awesome questions. And there's no such thing as a bad question, but rule number 1 is pay attention. Rule number 2, ask questions in the chat. So since we can't physically see you and you can't raise your arm, we just need you to say, hey, I got a question about such and such. You don't even have to say, hey, I got a question. You can say, what's that? Sin. And again, it doesn't have to be grammatically perfect. We can figure it out. How about that? So rule number 1, pay attention. Number 2, ask questions in the chat. Rule number 3, come prepared. Don't be this person. Now, today is an unpreparable day. Today, you don't need nothing. Some days you're going to need like a pen, some paint, some paper, a ruler, tape, stuff like that. But not today. Rule number 1, pay attention. Rule number 2, ask questions in the chat. Rule number 3, come prepared. And finally, rule number 4, and the most important rule of them all. Hold on. That would have went good with your Mensa song right there. Rule number 4, be respectful. We don't need side crazy chats saying mean things. This is a safe place. There's no mean nothing going on. We're about to have some fun. We're about to learn, and it is going to be awesome. This is our 2nd year doing this. This is my honor to do this with you. Me and Miss Nicole are going to make this as fun as we can and as quick as we can, because that's important too. So one more time, rule number 1, pay attention. Rule number 2, ask questions in the chat. Rule number 3, come prepared. And rule number 4, be respectful. Miss Nicole.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining. We're so happy your family, your parents registered you for this event. We are pumped to spend the next month with you. We are going to be live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this month, entire month. It's a free 4-week virtual summer camp starting today. That's July 6th, and it goes through July 29th. So each week we're going to be workshopping different topics. This week, week 1, we're highlighting social justice. Week 2, we're spotlighting the arts. Week 3, it's all about entrepreneurship and philanthropy. And then week 4, we close out with science and technology. By the way, that link that I just sent you is just an info sheet. Miss Susan from the Historical Society is going to talk us through it, but it is there if you need it. And I also want to remind you guys, I have a very special request. After each session, we're going to be looking on social media for you and your parents to post pictures, videos, TikToks, anything you want, demonstrating what you guys learned in our class. So you never know, if you complete this very special request, we could post you and select you, post you on the website for everybody else to see. So make sure that you tag us online on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever it is that you use at Walker Theater, so we can see all the cool stuff that you guys do. We have so many amazing partners in store for you guys. Whether it be the Indiana Historical Society, which you guys will see today, Indy 10 Black Lives Matter, Deanna Heartbeat, Arts for Learning, Kenyette's Dance Company, Asante's Children's Theater, 100 Black Men of Indianapolis and Morgan Stanley, Junior Achievements of Central Indiana, Microsoft, and even NASA. Without further ado, Mr. Griff, would you do the honors?
I absolutely will. Am I going to tell them what we're going to do today?
Yes, sir.
As y'all can see right there, I put right there Walker Theater. That's where everything is. See that little, that's what I get to do on a Zoom. Don't try to do this at home. This is not, this is just for Mr. Griff and Mr. Cole. How about that? Okay, so really excited to kick off this year's summer camp. Now, today is going to be cool because we are actually going to a museum. We are about to see some things we've never seen. So this is important to ask questions, because while Miss Susan is walking around and showing us, we get to say, hey, what's that right there? What's that over there? What's pointed over there? So we are going to learn and we're going to absorb all this up, and I'm really excited. So let me tell you what the first event of the Madam Walker Legacy Center 2021 Virtual Summer Institute is. The Indiana Historical Society. I'm going to say that again. The Indiana Historical Society is located at Eugene, and let me see what street that is. It's located at Eugene and Maryland Glick Indiana History Center. The Indiana Historical Society is one of the United States' oldest and largest historical societies since 1830. Okay? 2021 minus 18, you do the math. They've been connecting people to the past by collecting, preserving, and sharing the state's rich history. Today, their mission at the IHS is to preserve Indiana's unique stories, all the cool stuff that's happening in Indiana, and their what's the rest? Can't find it. I might have put gum on my paper. I did put gum on my paper. Look at that. And they're bringing Hoosiers together by remembering and sharing the past and inspiring the future, grounded in their taste, uniting values and principles. So today you are getting a special all-access pass to the Madam C.J. Walker exhibit within the theater. Ladies and gentlemen, kids, the Indiana Historical Society.
Hey, everybody. I'm Susan Hall Dodson, coordinator of African American history, because Black history is 365 here at the Indiana Historical Society. And welcome to the You Are There 1915 Madam C.J. Walker Empowering Women exhibit. I know you guys got a lot of questions. And for those of you who already know who Madam Walker is, of course, raise your hand in the chat. But if you have some questions, they're there. We're here to answer as many as we can get to. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Sarah Breedlove. Sarah Breedlove, this is a great image of Sarah Breedlove because that's what Madam Walker's name was when she was born. Madam Walker was born in 1867 in Delta, Louisiana. Madam Walker sadly was on the move. She was born 2 years post-emancipation, 2 years after the legal end of slavery in the United States. And she was the first child born to her parents that was not born enslaved. Sadly, her parents died when she was really young, and she went with her sister and they moved to Vicksburg, Mississippi. And while they were in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and then after that, they went to St. Louis. And I heard that there's some folks on here that are from St. Louis. So shout out to you. Madam Walker made her money doing laundry. And I know many of you young people think that there were always laundromats and washing machines. Well, they were not. Laundry is hard work now, but it was even harder then. And Madam Walker, you had to go get the water. It didn't come out of a faucet. There was no electricity in the pumps. And you had to get water and boil it and then scrub it against the scrub board like I'm doing now. And you had to keep doing that with heavy, wet clothes until you scrub the dirt on this board on the other side.
Where do the fabric softener go?
Huh, no fabric softener, love. Back then, everything was kind of hard. Most clothes were made out of cotton, 100% cotton, which gets really wrinkled, and wool. There was none of that permanent press and no fabric softener. And then you had to rinse it. And this is wet and heavy. So imagine all your sheets and your clothes, your dresses, your pants, your shirts, your underwear, everything had to be rinsed and rinsed and rinsed and rinsed. And then you go, and then you had to wring out the water. And so think about a sheet, a big sheet from your bed or your blanket that's made of wool and it's heavy. And you have to just keep wringing out all of, and this is heavy. I wish you guys were here to feel this. All of these items have weights in them. So it helps you to see and simulate what it took for her to do that. And so on this sheet here, you get to see where the water had to be boiled for the laundry if you want to get the dirt out of it. And you scrubbed it with the scrub board and you had to wring it out. And the soap, it didn't come in a box, it didn't come in pods. You had to make that soap. You had to make that from lye, which is really caustic like bleach. Then take that heavy clothes after you rinse it and wring it and hang it on the line. And then the iron. Now we know why the iron is called the iron, because it is literally made of iron. You had to get a special handle because you put that on the fire. And then you had to be careful as not to scorch your clothes, particularly the clothes you were washing for other people, because you couldn't afford to replace them. So you had to make sure there was no knob on there to make it low, medium, high, and delicate laces and things like that for people's tablecloths or the trim on some sheets. And all day, this is what she did all day. And she earned her living working really hard. And then she moved to St. Louis and she still continued to do that in the city. And the city environment was really different than being in the country. So while she was there, tall tenements, carrying stuff up and down steps, it's also colder. She also was a cook. But that's how she met her first boss, if you will, that helped push her toward becoming an entrepreneur. And her name is Annie Malone. And Annie Malone is right here in St. Louis. And she had her own beauty product company, Line. And so she became an agent. And she was selling Annie Malone's wares. And she moved to Denver. So she was on the move again, went to Denver. And while she was there, she started her own company and created her own line with the help of a local chemist there and put her own name on it. And so I'm going to kind of fast forward this story for you because I really want you to meet her. And I got a special treat for you. We're going to go back in time, really, today. But she had her own trucks. She put her own image on her own products.
And that was in
Now,
Denver?
In Denver first. And then she went to Pittsburgh. And then she opened a beauty college in Pittsburgh. And then she came to Indianapolis. Why Indianapolis? It's a crossroads of America. This was like the center of the country. The trains were running through here. It was a good place to move her products and commerce. And she liked the people. People were friendly and kind to her. The Black community was thriving here in Indianapolis. And these are some of the people from her universe, from her life. Freeman B. Ransom, who was an attorney, like her chief of staff, who ran her business, her general counsel, her confidant, Alice Kelly. She was a foreperson for her factories. Her great-granddaughter, let me get this right. Her granddaughter, Violet Davis Reynolds. Thankfully for her, we'll come back to that maybe if we get a chance, but that picture you just saw earlier in the black and the white, her grandson did that picture of Madam Walker, and one of her as well. But she was Madam Walker's secretary, and she started at the very young age of about 17, 18 years old working for her, and worked there well into the 80s.
Wow.
And that's famous Booker T. Washington, who is someone that Madam Walker knew well. And she got to speak at the Black Business League conference. So Madam Walker was on the move all across the country, different parts of the world, selling her wares. So as an entrepreneur, one thing I like to say about Madam Walker was many things. She was, yes, a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, but she was also an activist and a philanthropist, a mother, and sadly, an orphan. Her parents died young, but she didn't let that stop her. So here's a car that's just like the one that she had. She worked really hard, and she took that money from being a laundress and invested that money from that and the money she earned selling someone else's products into selling her own. She gave herself her own start. And she was so successful at that she was able to buy a car like this. But she wasn't just about herself. She empowered other women to work for her. They became agents of Madam Walker. And there's a picture right here. It's a great image of all these women across the country who came to when she left Indianapolis, and that was her house that she built too. And they all worked for her. And these badges were from conventions where
that's her house
women,
in New York, right?
Yes, at Villa Lawaru. And it still stands today. And she was able to empower them and give them jobs that they normally would have not have had because of discrimination, segregation, Jim Crow of the 1910s, 1920s, and they went well into that. And we can come over here and look at some of the product lines and look at, in 1913, Madam Walker's agents earned as much as $23 per week. But non-agents, they averaged about $10 per week. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot of money to you guys right now, but the cost of living was different. And we can look at even the inflation of what her products cost over time. I just bought some products the other day. I was like, ouch. So a small.
You spent your whole month.
I sure did. 35 cents for this little can. In 2019, similar product would be $8. And we can look at some of them right here. So do you need to thicken thin hair or enrich the scalp? These are one of her products. The Wonderful Hair Grower. And at the time, it cost 50 cents. And that's a 50-cent piece in there from that time. Do you need to master unruly hair? You know what? There's no such thing. All hair takes work. Straight hair, curly hair, afro hair, permed hair. And even if you shave your hair, you still got to do something to your head. Still got to do something to your scalp. So this was one of her very famous products called Glossine. And at the time, that one was 35 cents. And it was an oil, and it softened and glossed the hair. And it added a rich luster And it was good for both men and women. It wasn't just a woman's product.
CC and Princess says their mom has the vitamin E Super Grow cream.
See, there you go. So let me tell you a little bit about hair. Madam Walker was about, it wasn't just about beauty. She started her business because her hair was falling out. Why was her hair falling out? Stress, lack of hygiene, proper hygiene. Because what? It took a lot to get that water and hike it all the way up. When she lived in the tenements in St. Louis, you got to boil it and you got to have time. Who got time? And she was working hard to earn a living to take care of her daughter, Lelia. And so she used Madam Annie Malone's products and her hair started to grow back. So it was really more about hygiene, and the press and comb wasn't so much about we need to have long flat hair down our back, just to help tame it and make it easier to manage and to give us the ability to put those curls and styles in. And for the record, Madam Walker did not invent the straightening comb, and she did not invent the curling. Those were Marcel's by someone with of that name.
Why do they tell us that sometimes though, that she invented the straightening comb though?
Because they don't know any better.
How
So you
about
know,
that?
if you tell a lie,
How about that?
enough times, it'll go around the world and you'll think
That's
it's
right.
the truth.
That's right.
So that's why we are here to enlighten and fill in the blanks and correct the myths here at the Historical Society. And there are lots of them. So it's just stuck. But she did have a patent for one that had wider teeth. But she did not invent the straightening comb. But I'm going to take you back in time. I have a friend I'd like to introduce you to. So as I told you, it's called You Are There, 1915. Well, I'm going to take you back. Once we walk in this door, we are going to get transported in time to 1915. It's December 6th. And you can ask questions of the people that you're going to meet through me, and I'll be able to talk to you. But they won't be able to answer any questions that happened after 1915. It didn't happen yet in the space that we're going in the way back.
Nice.
So keep that in
Let's
mind.
go.
You can ask anything you want. So follow me. So here we are. We're going to walk in, and I'm going to introduce you to my friends who'll become your friends today. I'd like to introduce you to Madam C.J. Walker.
Hello there.
And I'd like to introduce you to Mr. George Knox.
Hello there.
Yes.
Hello
So
there.
tell us, Madam Walker, are you guys able to hear us both well out there? Since we're so far back in time, I need to know. Can you hear me?
Tell
Can you
her,
hear
tell
Madam
her
Walker?
to talk to you
I
for
hope they
something.
can hear me. Yes,
They can hear
me?
you?
Yes.
Very
Good.
good.
We hear them
very
fine.
Good.
We hear you both.
What brings you by my offices today?
Well, you know, I want to share with some students more about, you know, how you run your business, how you got to Indianapolis of all places, because it's a far ways from where you started
Oh,
in
yes.
Delta, Louisiana.
Oh, yes, it is. A very far away from Delta, Louisiana. It was a hard road. It was not easy. A lot of people think it was easy, but it was not. They see all that I have now, and they think that it just came overnight, but it did not. It was a journey from Delta, Louisiana, where I was orphaned at 7, moved on to Vicksburg, Mississippi, where I lived with my sister and worked as a sharecropper, got married at 14, had my one child at 17, and became a widow at 20. So yes, that was hard in itself. Went from there to St. Louis, where I became a washerwoman and was losing my hair. It was a hard road. Then I met that lady, Annie Malone, and she taught me about healthy hair. Because you know, water wasn't easy to come by. It wasn't easy to have healthy hair then, or even take a bath then. But she taught me, and I learned. And then I decided, I'm gonna sell her product for a while and be a washerwoman and work real hard, try to educate my daughter. You know, I only had 3 months of formal education, right?
Ooh, didn't know that.
3 months, that's it. 3 months of formal education. So I had to learn how to read better and write better. And those ladies at the AME church in St. Louis, helped me a lot.
Oh, what was the name of that church?
It was called Bethel AME. Uh-huh. And that's my church. Okay. And so they helped me and I educated my daughter. And then before long, I stopped selling that Poro product when I moved to Denver, Colorado. I thought I could make my own product and I can make it better. And that's what I did. And that's when I started working on that wonderful hair grower of mine. Mhm. Here you go. This is what it looks like. The wonderful hair grower. It looks like that. Uh-huh. And I have 14 ladies right now downstairs working in the manufacturing and packaging this product by hand. They're putting it in the can, and then they're gonna put the can inside this box, get it ready to be shipped out to those agents out there. Because I have a lot of agents out there selling this product right now, almost 20,000.
Wow, where are they?
They're all over the country. They're in the Caribbean. You know, I've been to Panama, Costa Rica, Jamaica. I've been to Cuba. Yes, I've been to all these places. And I have agents in all these places. I have them from coast to coast. I just came back from a big trip from the Pacific Northwest, you know, California, Oregon. I even went over to Montana. People say, why you go to Montana? There's one colored woman there. She needs me, right?
There you go.
And that's what I do. I travel, you know, but people think that because I have all these things that I'm consumed with all these things, but that's not my goal now. I have a home. I have fancy clothes. I have automobiles. My focus now is on uplifting the colored woman, making sure that she knows that she can do more than be just a washerwoman. She can do more than just be a cook or work in the fields. She can have her own little business. Because these women that sell my product, they don't work for me, they work for themselves, right? And they earn their own money, you see? And that's uplifting them, showing them a different way. They can go out and teach other women in turn how to take care of their hair and have healthy hair. It's about healthy hair. It's not about emulating or looking like another group of people. We want to make sure our hair is healthy and manageable. You know, I teach them how to use these tools, right? Over here. You seen these tools before? Are you familiar with them?
Tell me more about those tools.
Well, this is called a hot comb. You see? This is a hot comb. It's kind of heavy, got a little weight to it, right?
Sure is.
That's a hot
All my
comb.
sisters got
I did
their
not
neck
invent this
burned
hot
up.
comb, but I do have a patent pending right now for this hot comb. It's gonna have a little different look to it, wider teeth and maybe a curvature in the handle, easier to use. Yes.
How do you make them hot?
Well, you can put this directly on your stove at home
Okay.
and heat it up. You want to have a cloth handy, blow it off a little bit, right, before you put it to the air. But you know, the colored woman's hair draws up when we wash it, right? It doesn't just fall down straight like some people's hair, right? We have to put a little heat to it in order to make it more manageable, right? Now in my salon, we have electricity. I know some of you don't have electricity yet. Don't worry about it. You'll get it soon. But we have electricity in my salon, and it can be heated in something like this. They call it a warmer, right? And it has a wider opening, and this hot comb will fit right in it. But this tool right here, you seen this tool before? It's a curler.
Ooh-wee.
You know, all the girls over there now trying to get curls because the holidays are coming. Everybody want to be fancy, right? Right. So that goes.
How long do the curls last?
Well, you know, with the colored woman's hair, if the water hit it, it's gonna be gone, right?
Yeah.
So it'll last as long as you can manage it. You know, some people can put a little pick curl in it and keep it a little few days or whatever. But if the water hit a colored woman's hair, no curls are gonna be gone. And then this fancy too, my daughter got me to put this in there, and I call it a wave maker.
No.
But some people call it a crimper. Yeah.
So you have to heat that too.
You have to heat all of these instruments up in order for them to be effective on the colored woman's hair.
Okay.
So we need a little heat. And these women go to my beauty school and they learn these things. Now they have to have an 8th grade education, mind you. So
Okay.
you got that education, you can come to my beauty school.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, they have to have an 8th grade education, and we teach them everything there. Teach them about hygiene,
Mm.
you know, how to be clean and whatnot, and how to service their people, you know. So it's a lot to learn there, and I make sure that they get all that information before they go out there and start trying to teach people things and show people things. But it's
Okay.
important. Mr. Knox is a big supporter of mine because Mr. Knox advertises for me.
She advertises every day. I mean, when I say every day, my paper is once a week. She advertises every week. She advertises all her associates all across the United States. And by the way, I can get the paper to you for $1.50
Okay.
all year.
What's the name of your paper?
Freeman.
Oh,
The
wow.
Freeman newspaper. And Madam Walker is my #1 client.
How long have you been publishing in your newspaper?
I bought it in 1892 from Mr. Cooper. And so I've been publishing it, and it went from 14,000 to 20,000.
Wow.
And I bought it from Mr. Cooper, as I said, in 1892, after I got through my barbershop. And I was,
So you cut hair too?
I came here from Wilson, Tennessee. I was back in 1841.
Hmm.
I was sold as a slave
Oh, wow.
at 3 years old, and I managed to follow my owner, and he went in the military, and he worked through the military as a teacher, and then he ended up farming me out to someone here in Indianapolis. And then when I got to Indianapolis, I went to a place that not too many people, when I tell people this, they don't believe me. But I opened my first barbershop in Greenfield, Indiana.
Oh, wow.
And Greenfield, Indiana is very present. And so I had a barbershop there, and I cut people's hair. That when they get in the barber chair,
Hmm.
they put their pistol on their chest and say, "If you cut me, I'm going to shoot you."
Oh, that's terrible.
But I did not have that. Thank the Lord. My Christian he stood by me. And so I went from that barbershop down to the Indianapolis Circle, downtown. And from that, I became a representative, a state representative. And then I came up on the paper.
Oh.
So
Where'd you learn to write and read?
My wife and my master. And so I did. It was all through learning.
Okay.
It was self-contained.
Hmm.
And so my wife, when I met her, my master had started teaching me when he at an early age, but he taught me a lot to do before I came from Wilson, Tennessee up this way. And so I learned from my wife. And then when I ran for state representative, it was, I had to change allegiance from Republican from my paper to Democrat, and then back to Democrat because the Republicans wanted me to support the Ku Klux Klan.
Oh.
And so I had to change my paper.
What will you tell young people about how to start businesses, how to be successful? What are the tools that are different from when you both were born? Because right now in 1915 is a far cry from where you began.
Oh, yes,
Well,
it is.
I will come. Someone just asked me the reason I speak up there because someone asked me how I define Madam Walker with one word. I said determination. You have to be determined to know where you want to go. You have to be determined that you want to know what you want to do, and that's Madam Walker. That's a prime example of that. She knew where she wanted to go. She knew she didn't want to be a washerwoman all of her life, and her social experiences help her overcome that. And the same way with me, I have to be determined. Matter of fact, I just went down in Wilson, Tennessee last month, and someone told me that my master, who bought me for $300, 3 years old, I went down and looked, they told me he was destitute. I went down and found him and I said, if I got 25 cents, you got 25 cents. And I was criticized for that.
Mm,
But like Madam Walker, I don't forget where I came from
mhm,
because he did not have to take me from going into slavery, further into slavery. He took me and in his house. So you have to remember where you came from.
mm,
The other thing is that Madam Walker sets example. She gives away 100 baskets every year during this time. Philanthropic. She never forgets where she comes from. She supports. She gives people. When I met her 5 years ago, I met her when I went down to Union Station at midnight because Mr. Ward told me that she was coming in town, and I wanted to be the first to meet her. And so I met her. But when I met her, she began to take advertisements in here and advertise for people, and that's one thing that kicked it off. But the second thing is that when she came, I wrote an article. I said, "There's a lady in coming in the city that has a rope," and they said, "What are you talking about, a rope?" I said, "This lady, if she sees anybody down and out, she throws that rope down, she pulls them up, and she gives them social advice, or she gives them financial assistance if she can. But one thing she tells me, if you see somebody," she tells the staff all this all the time, and I laugh every time she says, "if you see anybody without a smile,
mhm,
then you give them one of yours." And that's the way she says it. And when she talks about her education, her
mhm.
lack of education, she tells her students when they come in to visit her, say, "If you go to school," I only had a minimal school. She said, "but if you go to school, you ask that teacher any and everything that you can. Get everything, just drain her head. Because if somebody puts it in, you put it in your head, can't nobody take it away from you."
Mhm.
And so, Madam Walker, that's the reason I come over here. I just walked in, but my office is at 332 West Vermont Street. But whenever I find out she's in the office, I'm over here to fellowship with her. And then she gave, not only did she give for others, she gave me $1,000 for the YMCA.
Okay.
And then to show you how diligent she is, she gave me the $1,000, and then she hired a painter to paint my picture to hang it in the hallway. So you tell me she's not philanthropic.
But that's what's important. It's about giving back. It's about helping others. And I would tell young folks, if they want to start their own business, find something that they're passionate about, something that they really like to do. And then don't let anything stop them. Just go and keep going and don't let anybody deter you. Just keep on going. People ask me how I got a start, and I say I gave myself a start. I promoted myself from washerwoman up to where I am. I did not ask anybody. I did it myself, and I was determined to do it, and I work hard at doing it, and that's what I do. But people think, like I said, now I have all these things that it's all about me, but no, it's not. It's about uplifting my community, uplifting the colored people, making sure that they have
Mhm.
what they don't have. Or if I can't give it to them, let's find a way to give it to them. Like the Planner House, I support that for the women and their children and the babies so they can go there and be treated because they don't take us in a lot of the healthcare places. The Alpha Home, where the aged Negro women, a lot of them were slaves. They don't have anybody to take care of them, so they can live out their days there, right?
Mhm.
So those kind of things, he said the YMCA for the colored men. We had to build that because they wouldn't let the colored men go to the YMCA, the regular one downtown. So we had to build that for our men.
And you know what she did right after that?
Hmm.
I asked her, I said, "Madam, this is for the men." She said, "Yes, I know. But as the men come along, the women gonna come along." And lo and behold, she has a campaign for the YWCA right now.
That's right. That's right. So that's what I would tell the children. I would tell them to work very hard. Don't let anything stop them. And like he said, once you get that education in here, nobody can take it away from you. It's in here to stay. and you can do anything you want with that education.
Mhm.
Children have any more questions for me?
We love this.
No? Okay.
They love this. We
They
love
did?
you.
Oh,
And since we are almost at the holiday season,
yes.
happy holidays to you both.
Thank you very
And
much.
thank you for
Oh, I'm
giving
so
us some
glad
time to
you
come and
stopped by.
visit you here at your office over on West Street.
And tell your guests that I can get the Freeman
Okay,
newspaper
I
to
will
their
take it.
house.
I will take a copy.
No, he just always pushing that newspaper, but it's good because all my ads are in there and people can learn about my product and how to get it.
Well, enjoy your holiday coming up, and thank you so much for your time.
Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Have a happy holiday.
That was so cool.
What can I do for you guys now?
Oh man, they want to see that car again.
They want to see the car again? Okay.
Yes.
Well, before we turn to the car, just so you know, here goes an old picture for those who are right here in Indianapolis of Flanner House and the women that she was just talking about that were beneficiaries of the free clinic, tuberculosis clinic, and other clinical health matters. This is George Knox standing outside of the Senate Avenue YMCA that Madam Walker wrote the biggest check to help support that from the Black community. And the picture that Madam Walker had done of Mr. Knox was painted by John Hardwick right here in Indianapolis as well. And that was the original Alpha home for aged colored women. It's about 1900. It is still both the Flanner House and the Alpha home still in existence today. And the Alpha home is over on Cold Spring Road down the street from Marion University. Let's take a look at the car. You can come see it from the front. It was a big old Ford. And
Ooh,
there's a
nice
picture.
ride.
Oh yeah, and she drove. So think about the progressiveness of Madam Walker in her
He was
time.
a boss.
She was definitely, and there's a picture, we can go over that way and look in this way too, is a picture of her in the car. She sometimes had a chauffeur. She also drove the car, and it's not the only car she ever owned. In addition to the trucks that delivered her products, here she is driving her car in 1912, and her niece is in the car along with her. Her bookkeeper, see, somebody else kept the books. Now, one thing about Madam Walker, she surrounded herself with excellence. She surrounded herself
Yes.
with people who could do what she could not.
Absolutely.
So Mr. Ransom, as we talked about earlier, I showed you a picture of him on the wall. Mr. Ransom was an attorney. And sadly, he went to Cornell. He could not practice law at a white-owned law firm at the time. But here he was coming out of an Ivy League school, and he was well suited to being her attorney, and he did a great job, and she hired him, and he remained with that company long after her death. Sadly, she died early in 1919. Here goes another picture of her in the car. Her other car, Tesla, was is an electric car today. Well, there were electric cars before that. Here goes about 1910, 12, and this is her registration, but this is a Waverly electric car. And there goes Madam Walker driving her car in front of her
Wow.
house. And that house was at 640 West Street. Sadly, that original house is no longer here with us. And it was right behind what you now know and see as the Madam Walker Legacy Center Walker Theater, of which Madam Walker didn't actually get to see it completed. She bought the property, and her daughter Lelia built that in her honor and to satisfy her mother's wishes to have a theater that Black people and all people were welcome at, because she used to like to go to the movies. At the time, they were called the talkies and the silent films. And that was her pastime when she wasn't working. And as you could tell, to have amassed the type of fortune and have all these people working for her, she worked rather hard. But she went to the Isis Theater and they denied her. Well, they didn't deny her access. She was a frequent visitor and they always charged her 10 cents. And this one day she goes and they said, well, it's 25 cents. She goes, well, you didn't charge the other people 25 cents. Why is it 25 cents for me? And they said, well, now it's 25 cents for colored people. And as you notice, when we were in Madam Walker's space and out here, that was the term of the day, one of the many terms of the day that were used to describe Black people, call Black people, but the same, not just, and not so much as a pejorative, but the way we say African American and Black today, people then said colored and Negro in her era. So when you come here and you read some of the writings of the day, those are the words that we use. So they are not meant as pejorative, but of the historic descriptors of the era.
Man,
So that
cool.
is why the theater was built. She was determined to have a place that she felt welcome and that others could feel welcome too. And she bought that parcel of land. And in 1928, when it was opened, thanks to her daughter Lilia's diligence and following her mother's wishes. Any other questions, concerns?
We were telling people that they need to watch Self-Made on Netflix.
Sorta.
Yeah, it was a good, I don't know. I like that. I like the actors in that room just now. They were awesome.
Well, let me tell you a little bit before you watch Self-Made. Self-Made, A'Lelia Bundles, who is the great-great-granddaughter of Madam C.J. Walker, wrote a book called On Her Own Ground. And it has got citations and all these pieces and parts of papers that you see around here. We have them. You can look at them online. You can come here and actually get a box and hold them in your hand as well. But she wrote a historic account of her great-great-grandmother and her great-grandmother's lives. And they bought the rights to the book. But what they did was not follow the book to the letter. So unfortunately, in order to tell, this is what they call showrunners, the people who determine what the show is going to be about. They decided in order to tell certain stories that they wanted to tell within the story, that they use poetic and Hollywood license and fictionalize some of the accounts. So for example, Annie Malone that we were just talking about, they don't call her Annie Malone, they call her Addie Monroe. That is a composite made up character. And they don't look alike. There was no color struck issues between Annie and Madam. In addition to the fact that she didn't even look like that. So yeah, so there's some things like
but I had to imagine, I kind of thought they, to make it a movie, you gotta make it dramatic when it was, you gotta add.
You can, but there was enough dramatic and drama, trust me. If you read the book, you'll see in Madam Walker's life, she was married 3 times. And the last husband, she had to send him on his way because he was not as faithful as he could have, should have been. And then he tried to take her company. And she was like, not having it. So, and that's where the last name Walker comes from. That was the 3rd husband. But as you heard in the beginning, and as Madam said, she was an orphan. So there was enough going on. There's other stuff going on that they didn't have to make up stories.
They didn't have to help it.
They didn't have to make up stories as well as eliminate a real person. So you don't get to meet Annie Malone. You get to meet Addie Monroe, who never came, because Annie Malone never lived in Indianapolis. And as the movie shows, like when the house catches, I'm spoiler alert for anybody out there, there's a fire in the house where she's making the product. Well, the product, she wasn't making the product in Indianapolis in her kitchen. She had already worked the kinks out in Denver and she had a small plant in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So by the time she came to Indianapolis, she was rather successful and continued to grow that business
Got
to
it.
become an empire that made her a wealthy woman, but also empowered and employed women across this country. So
Got
Thank
it.
you so much for filling us in on that. This is why we needed to come to the Indiana Historical Society. So you could tell us what really happened, you and Miss Walker.
absolutely.
Thank
Miss
you,
Susan,
guys.
you were awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well,
Thank you so
guys.
much, Miss Susan. All right, you guys, thank you for joining us. We are back tomorrow. Griff, why don't you close us out?
Well, we want to thank Miss Susan again. That was so awesome. I really felt like I was in the museum. I felt like when we went through that time machine, the lady that played Madam C.J. Walker and the man that played Mr. Knox were on point. It was awesome. I was seeing some comments from the kids. They were all loving it. We want to thank everybody for paying attention. You know, it was really cool to watch Miss Susan tell us things before we actually went in that time machine, and then Mrs. Walker herself told us the rest of the things. So I'm so full right now. I had a great time. We want to thank everybody. Thank you, Devin. Thank you, Madam President Christian, for coming on. Congratulations on your new job. Big shout out to Madam Vice President Tanasha. Thank you for having us again, as always. And again, you guys, we will see you tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday every week. It's going to be myself, Miss Nicole, and a host of other people. We're doing so much this year, but make sure you tag us on Facebook. You can see right here, I put Walker Theater. It's not spelled the way we normally, it's actually spelled the British way they spell theater. So it's fine. It's you really can't get in trouble on spelling theater wrong unless they want the American version of theater. But make sure you go to @Walker Theater, THEATRE, and just post what, even if you, I was just recording some of the actors just now, and I posted it on my IG and my Instagram. And we just want to thank you for coming to the Madam Walker Legacy Center Virtual Summer Institute 2021. My name is Griff. That is Nicole. You guys go and have the best day ever.
Thank you, guys. Woo! We'll see you tomorrow. More information to come on Pick Up. Local students, you can pick your supplies up from the Walker. Your parents probably going to take you from 10 to noon, and then again from 2 to 4:30. More to come. Thank you guys so much.